back to It Ain't Rocket Science. I'm Adam Malkin. You may know him as the go-to animal guru from his many appearances on late night TV, but Jack Hanna is more than just an animal expert. He's at the helm of a media empire dedicated to education and conservation. So what does it take to get Jack Hanna into the wild? Tara Wagner visits the Columbus Zoo to find out firsthand.
He's one of the most recognizable faces in conservation.
Don't get a picture of that, I'm going back to work.
Whether you know him from his late night appearances, any of his own television programs, or as the director emeritus of the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium, Jack Hanna has always had one goal in mind: education.
Touch the heart to teach the mind. Now, young people watching this may not understand what I'm saying, but they have their heart touched when they go to, whether it's the Bronx Zoo, the Columbus Zoo, or all the zoos throughout the country. You go there to have fun, but when you leave there, you've learned something.
We visited the zoo when Jack and his crew were filming for upcoming episodes of his show Into the Wild, and it was clear his rock star status is alive and well. But despite all the attention, he stays grounded.
Some kids have always asked me, how do you get on TV? Well, it's very simple. I never sought TV. It's not how you get on TV, it's just the fact that I had a certain message to deliver. I delivered it in a different way than most people do, and it just happened to work. For me, it's like yesterday. I was meeting people here in the zoo grounds while I was filming, and when they come up to me and said, you know, we don't know how to thank you for everything you've taught us over the years, that means more to me than anything in the world. I mean, it really does.
Hanna, less formally known as Jungle Jack, is largely credited with the transformation of zoos around the country, from cage-like grottos to expansive, more animal-friendly habitats like this.
I try and help zoos that have a tough time. They might not have the tax dollar, they might not have the donations. I do the best I can to go to tell them, well, maybe you can't afford a moat, but you can sure afford, let's say, the enclosure, which can be behind trees and over hills, and you come out in the front with your glass windows, and that gives them the reality of a natural habitat. And they do a heck of a job at the standpoint of educating people about what these animals are and why we need to protect them.
His education and conservation efforts continue after more than 40 years of working with animals. He released a new book this summer called Jack Hanna's Big Book of Why, and continues to travel the world shooting television segments and doing live appearances.
Yes, I've been able to travel the world, every continent of the world. I mean, everywhere in the world almost. That's great Jack Hanna can do that, isn't it? And I really get sad about this. I wish everybody could do it, but they can't. So they watch our shows. And I think right now that they say, well, what can we do? You can volunteer at the Humane Society of walking dogs. Some veterinarians will let you come in there and clean and do things like that. So you try and get involved some way.
And who knows, if you stick with it and follow your passion, maybe you could be the next Jungle Jack. For It Ain't Rocket Science, I'm Tara Wagner.
Students in New York City are already doing their part to conserve urban green spaces for future generations. In 2012, Hurricane Sandy devastated coastal neighborhoods across the Northeast. Clodagh McGowan shows us how these students are checking in on some trees affected by the storm.
These college students want the trees in their neighborhoods around New York City to be here for years to come. So they're spending their summer using science to study the health of certain tree species.
We're able to tell if a tree is showing signs of stress early on. That way we're able to do something before it becomes too late.
It's all part of the Nature Conservancy's Leaders in Environmental Action for the Future, or LEAF program. It's a summer internship where students do hands-on conservation work.
They will arrive on site ready to go, and they basically start out assessing the health of trees block by block depending on where they're working.
This summer, the interns are focusing on trees flooded during Hurricane Sandy in Queens. Research ecologist Rich Hallett says Sandy killed about 20,000 trees. Now this group is taking a closer look at the effects seawater flooding had on specific tree species.
So in the case of red maple, we saw 1 year after Sandy, the flooded trees were significantly less healthy. And then the second growing season, we noticed we lost about 6% of the flooded trees.
The data collected by the students will be used by the Parks Department and can help determine what tree species will be planted in flood zone areas in the future. As for the students, they're learning just how valuable trees are to the city's landscape.
We need nature in the cities. It's a blend of both. It's integrating nature into the city.
Using that knowledge to grow a greener future, not just for New York, but these young scholars too. For It Ain't Rocket Science, I'm Clodagh McGowan.
Further up the Hudson River Valley, teens aren't afraid of getting their hands dirty to keep local wetlands vibrant. Lindsay Christ jumps in to bring us the story.
As idyllic as this looks, it's no summer camp. It's messy, muddy, complicated, and physically challenging work. It's part of a long-term research study sponsored by Columbia University. The researchers, however, are unusually young, teenagers, mostly from East Harlem.
Most of these kids, they'd never been in a marsh, didn't know what a marsh was.
They're working along the Hudson River in marshes about 15 miles north of the city. Like marshes up and down the East Coast, it's been almost entirely consumed by an invasive reed.
What it's doing right now is that it's taking over majority of the Hudson.
The students are helping biologists from Columbia's Lamont Doherty Earth Observatory research a way to destroy the runaway reeds without using chemicals. So they're covering patches with black plastic and hoping to cook the reeds' roots to death with the heat of the sun. The program, which now includes 40 high school students and 11 college students, began informally a decade ago. Researchers wanted to give students who did not attend elite science schools the chance to do real scientific research. They also hope to diversify their own ranks.
It's a field that tends to attract the children of professionals, so you get a kind of an upper middle class white male tone.
The students here are 80% Black, Hispanic, or South Asian, and 70% female. All of the past participants have gone on to college, half choosing to major in science, engineering, or math. It's been a win-win-win for the scientists.
It's the most rewarding experience of my life, watching these guys grow and reach their potential.
For the students.
I feel like I'm doing something important, something that matters to the world.
And for the marsh. For It Ain't Rocket Science, I'm Lindsay Christ.
And in many ways, our environment shapes our experiences. For teens interested in the nautical life, a program at the State University of New York's Maritime College was the perfect spot to launch their STEM skills. It wasn't all smooth sailing for these young engineers at SUNY Maritime College's STEM Academy. The teens took to the water as part of a week-long residency program designed to help them get their STEM sea legs.
I decided to do it because I'm really interested into science and math. Those are my two main subjects, and engineering is definitely something I want to do in my future.
I came here looking for just more STEM practice, something to boost a resume for a STEM career.
The students learned how STEM comes into play when you're on the water, from how a ship's captain uses math to physics behind buoyancy, even applying those principles to construct their own sea vessels.
I never thought about the process you have to use before you even go to design something, but we're able to use 3D imaging and software to get a scale model of what our boat should look like now. We want to stick with a traditional design, so we figured this would may not have as much balance as a box, but it would travel through the water a lot better and faster.
We kept it simple. We kept the bottom of it flat and just put the walls so that they're high enough so that water does not spill over.
From there, it was time to hit the water. For some, it was a success, while others got a little wet. While the experience was worth its weight in laughs, there was some serious STEM takeaway.
For me, STEM has drew my attention, one, because it has a vast majority of career fields. One of the career fields is naval architecture, basically designing boats for the Navy. What other kid would want to do that? I mean, that's a dream job.
Science and math is everything, and there's so many more jobs for science and math, so why not?
With the lessons learned in this boot camp, these future leaders should have no problem staying afloat. All right, stop here for one more quick break. Then, coming up, Trick or Treat. We'll give you a treat by showing you some of the tricks that go into making the perfect haunted house. Then we check out a museum where the exhibits are a collaboration of art, technology, and cotton candy. And finally, how a major fashion designer is inspiring young girls to code. To find hands-on science, technology, engineering, and math opportunities in your community, visit theconnectory.org, made possible by Time Warner Cable's Connect a Million Minds.